Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for being here with us. The moment began quietly, almost unnoticed at first. The travelers moved through Narita airport in their usual rhythm, carrying luggage, checking screens, adjusting their pace to match departure time and arrival announcement. The atmosphere was familiar in the way airport often are. There were movement everywhere, but also a strange sense of pause beneath it all. People were living, arriving, waiting, thinking ahead of everywhere they were going to next. And within that ordinary sitting, Fujika they appeared. There was no dramatic entrance, no loud announcement, no careful staged moment designed to attack attention. In fact, what stood out most was how naturally he blended into the environment around him. He wore a mask, moved calmly, and carried himself with the same relaxed presence many fans have come to recognize over the year. Yet, despite the simplicity of the moment, people moved immediately noticed something about him that felt deeply familiar. It was not what he said. There was no public remark, no performance, no official interaction. It was the expression in his eyes. Even behind a mask, people felt warmth in the way he looked at those around him. His gaze seems gently and attention, not distant or argued. For many fans, however, shared their impression online. That small detail became the center of the entire experience. They did not describe excitement in extreme teen. Instead, they spoke about feeling comfort, respected, even unexpectedly move at such a quiet encounter. What make moment like this interesting is not simplicity, celebrity recognition. Airport are places where public figures are often seen. Fans take photos, people observe from a distance, and brief encounter became memories. But these particular scenes carried a different atmosphere. It felt less like a public appearance and more likely a reminder of the qualities people associated with Fujikade himself. Over time, had built a reputation not only through his music but through a presence. There is a calmness in the way his communities both are on and off stage. That may listen find reassuring even during interview or live performance. He often gives the impression that he is fully present in that moment. He listened carefully, he spoke slowly, he allowed silence to exist naturally without rushing to fill it in a fast moving world. That kind of energy can leave a strong impression. At Narita airport, fans seem to recognize that same quality immediately. Some describe how he slid board his head while passing people nearby. Other noticed the softness in his eyes when someone acknowledged him. There was no visible attempt to create a perfect image. In fact, part of the reason that moment resonated so strongly may be because it appeared completely unplanned. The sincerity felt natural rather than performed. It is interesting how much emotional people can read through the eyes alone. Mask or official expression reducing many of the signals people usually rely on during communication. Yet in some ways this can make eye contact feel even more important. A person's mood, attentiveness and emotional state often become easier to see through smaller details: the direction of a glance, the pace of movement, the feeling behind a simple acknowledgement. These things being to matter more. In Fujikaze's case, fans interpreted those details as kindness, not dramatic kindness, no exaggerated friendliness, just a quiet sense of consideration for the people around him. That subtle difference matter. It is often the small understand gesture that stay with the people longest because they feel genuine. As photos and short description of the airport sighting spread online, people reaction remained relatively calm compared to the intensity that sometimes surround celebrity appearance. Many fans focused less on excitement and more on atmosphere. They talked about how peaceful he looked. Some commented on how tired he may have been after traveling, yet still appeared gentle and composed. Others reflected on how seeing him in such an ordinary setting somehow made him feel more relatable. This kind of response says something important about the relationship between artist and audience today. In many cases, the public attention is built around spectacular visibility, become tried to dramatic moment, bold statement, or highly polished image. But Fujikaze appeal often seems connected to the opposite approach. His public image is not centered on intensity. Instead, people are drawn to his sense of calm authenticity. He rarely appears rushed to maintain attention. He does not constantly project an image of perfection or control. That openness creates a different type of connection. The airport moment reflected that clearly. Rather than feeling distant, he seemed approachable with within the boundaries of respectful space. Fan did not describe him as untouchable or larger than life. They describe him as gentle, thoughtful, and quietly attentive. Those qualities may sound simple, but simplicity can be surprisingly powerful. There is also something symbolic about airport themselves. There are transitional spaces, people pass through them while moving between different parts of their lives. Airport often carry mixed emotion, excitement, fatigue, anticipation, uncertainty, relief. Everyone is temporarily sharing the same environment while heading toward different destinations. Seeing a familiar artist within that setting can feel strangely grounding. It reminds people that public figure also move through ordinary spaces, experiencing long travel day away to for light and navigation, the same human routine as everyone else. That scenes of shared reality that strengthen emotional connection subtle ways. For fans of Fujikawa, this particular moment seemed to reinforce the image they already held to him, not because he did something extraordinary, but because he appeared consistently with the emotional tone of his music and public personality. His songs often carry themselves of reflection, emotional honesty, and inner calm. Seeing those qualities reflected in real life, even through a brief airport encounter, created a feeling of continuity between the artist and the person. The continuity matter more than many people realize. Audience are often sensitive to consistency. When public image feel disconnected from real behavior, people noticed. But when someone everyday presence align naturally with the emotion they express through their work, trust deepen. Fans begin to feel that the connection they experience through music is not entirely imagined. Of course, not public moment reveal a complete person. A brief sighting at an airport cannot at an airport cannot fully define someone's character. It is important to remember that public figures deserve privacy and personal space, especially during travel. Most fans who discussed the encounter seemed aware of this. Their reaction focused less on ownership or success and more on appreciation for the atmosphere of the moment itself. That respectful tone shaped the conversation in an interesting way rather than turning the encounter into intense speculation, overwhelming excitement. Many people simply reflected on how meaningful small moments can become: a glance, a note, a calm expression visible only through the eyes. These things may seem minor on the surface, but emotionally they often carry weight because they feel human. That the growing fatigue in modern media culture toward constant intensity, people are surrounded by fast reaction, dramatic headline, and endless stimulation. In that environment, moment of quiet sincerity stand out more clearly. They offer a different emotional experience. Not excitement that peaks quickly and disappear, but calm attention that linger gently over time. This may help explain why the Narita airport sighting spread so naturally among fans. It was not driven by scandal, conflict, or spectacle. It spread because people recognized a feeling they valued, a reminder that softness and calmness still matter, that gentleness can leave a lasting impression even in busy public spaces. The timing also played a role. Fujikaze has continued to receive growing international attention in recent years as his audience expands beyond Japan. More people are becoming curious not only about his music but about the personality behind it. Small public movements like this naturally attract attention because they seem to offer glimpse into how he carries himself away from the stage. Yet the most striking aspect remains how ordinary the scene truly was. No dramatic speech occurred, not major event unfolded. The emotional impact came entirely from observation. Fans watching quietly from respectful distance noticed the atmosphere surrounding him and interpreted it through their own emotional connection to his work. That process reveals something interesting about fandom itself. People do not connect only to achievement or performance. Often they connect to emotional consistency. They feeling that someone's public presence align with the emotional their artists create. In Fujikaze cases, many listeners describe his music as calming, reflecting, and emotionally open. Seeing those same qualities reflected in everyday behavior strengthens the sense of authenticity surrounding him. There is no also a Also, an important difference between visibility and presence. Many people are highly visible in public life, constantly appearing online and in media spaces, but presence in something quite it is more emotional atmosphere. A person creates simply by existing within a space. Presence cannot be manufactured as easily as visibility because it depends on subtle emotional perception. At Nairobi Airport, fans seem to respond more to presence than visibility. Even behind a mask, people seem warmth. Even without conversation, they felt acknowledged. What kind of emotional communication happen quietly, often beneath conscious awareness, yet it can shape how many feel a memory feel long afterward. Some fans later describe replaying the moment in their mind during the rest of their day, not because anything dramatic happens, but because the interaction left them unexpectedly calm. Others spoke about how seeing him behave naturally reminded them why they connected with his music in the first place. The connection between music and personality is difficult. Thanks for watching the video. If you like it, then don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.